My name is Vajrashura, and this is my thought for the day. So last night in a Buddhist discussion group, we were looking at a very core Buddhist teaching called the three marks of conditioned existence, the three lakshanas. That is that all things in the world are impermanent, profoundly impermanent and ever-changing. Because of that, we experience unsatisfactoriness or dukkha or even suffering because we're not living in tune with that generally, according to the Buddha. And then the third one, the one I want to focus on, is that there is no fixed self. All things are marked by a lack of a fixed essence. They're insubstantial, as we sometimes say. So this whole theory of no self it's a really interesting one, and one that has caused a lot of problems for people as well in an unhelpful way. So to say that you have no self is often not very helpful for people. So what's really been said is that what we usually think of as a self is profoundly impermanent. It's ever-changing. In fact, the more you look at it, the more deeply you see that there is nothing permanent to the self, such that it's almost acceptable shorthand to say there is no self. But we were studying Sangharakshita last night, and I thought he said there was a line that particularly struck me that I thought was really quite brilliant about this whole area. I'll read it out. He says, "The self is illusory to the extent that it claims to be absolute and expects the universe to revolve around it. The self is illusory to the extent that it claims to be absolute and expects the universe to revolve around it." So, like it or not, I think the state of unenlightenment is the state of thinking that you are the center of the universe, above and beyond everyone else. I mean, the funny thing is that everyone probably thinks that they're the center of the universe, really. But when you think you're the center of the universe, you think that exclusively. I mean, in a way, the way to metta is to realize that everyone feels like they're the center of the universe. And it's a way to wisdom and metta, because that can help us get over our own sense of feeling like we are center of the universe. But in any case, I think what Bhante is offering us, what Sangharakshita is offering us, is a really good way of working with no self or no fixed self, that we're trying to get over this sense that we're the center of the universe, or to put it another way, that everyone else is just as much the center of the universe as we are, and using that to let go of our rigidity around it. The other thing that we looked at is the positive wisdoms that emerge from looking at each of these lakshanas, each of these marks of conditioned existence. So when you look deeply at impermanence, you come to the signless, where you just see everything as unpindownable and fresh and new. With the wisdom that emerges from looking at dukkha, from unsatisfactoriness, is a deep, unbiased contentment where you're not pulled around by your likes and dislikes anymore. And the wisdom that emerges from reflecting on anatman, or the lack of a fixed self, is the wisdom of shunyata. And shunyata is a word that has various meanings. So it's usually translated as emptiness. So it's empty of anything fixed. It's empty of any absolute essence that is above and beyond the process of change. But perhaps, again, Bhante offers a more useful way of looking at this. He talks about it, well, we could just as easily talk in terms of fullness. So shunyata, when we really see that nothing has a fixed limiting nature, we really see the fullness of everything, we really see the richness of everything. Because ultimately to be attached to a fixed self is to limit oneself and to limit one's experience of the world. So the wisdom that emerges out of seeing the folly of that is the wisdom that sees things in its fullness. But in particular, the one I wanted to leave you with is another translation of it, which is beauty. So the wisdom of shunyata is the wisdom of beauty, the wisdom that sees the beauty in everything without you getting in the way of that beauty. And I think that's particularly appropriate right now as we come out of lockdown. You know, there's lots of things we're all looking forward to, you know, going down the countryside, seeing relatives again, getting a haircut and so on. But also there's a lot of anxiety around about leaving conditions that for many people have been very positive and good, actually. So I think the wisdom of beauty, seeing that we're not the center of the universe, getting ourselves out of the way so we can truly appreciate the beauty around us, I think is a really good way forward that we could practice. So you might want to take that on, and I hope you find it useful. And that's my talk for today.